A homeless girl found a billionaire's wallet full of money on her birthday. In gratitude, the billionaire offered a reward, but the girl's request made him cry. Lily woke up to the sound of cars passing by. The sun had barely risen, yet the city was already bustling. She stretched, feeling the hard cardboard beneath her. Today was a special day, her birthday. She was turning 4, but there was no cake or presents in sight. Carefully, Lily left her little hiding spot between 2 buildings. She looked around, as she always did. People filled the sidewalk in a hurry. No one paying her any attention. Better that way, she thought. Some people weren't kind to children alone on the street. Her stomach growled loudly. Lily couldn't remember the last time she'd eaten. Yesterday, the day before. The days blurred together in her mind. She walked along the sidewalk, her eyes alert for anything that might be food. Near a small cafe, Lily spotted a piece of bread on the ground. She ran to grab it before anyone else could. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. As she ate, she watched people passing by, happy families, children holding hands with their parents. Something ached in Lily's chest. Why was she alone? Lily tried to remember, but it was hard. There were confusing flashes in her mind. A woman with dark hair and a gentle smile. Her mother. Then lots of people, noise, someone shouting her name. Lily shook her head, pushing away the painful memories. The day went by slowly. Lily walked a lot, looking for a safe place to rest. Her feet hurt in her old, tight shoes. She stopped near a park and sat on a bench to rest for a while. Suddenly, a sweet smell reached her. It was warm and sugary. Lily looked around and saw a woman selling cotton candy. Her stomach growled again, even louder this time. She stood there, mesmerized by the fluffy pink treat. "Would you like one, sweetie?" The gentle voice startled Lily. The cotton candy vendor was smiling at her. Lily really wanted to say yes, but she knew she had no money. She shook her head sadly and walked away quickly. It wasn't good to stay too close to adults. Some called people who took away children on their own. The sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Normally, Lily found it pretty, but today she just wanted a warm place to sleep. She returned to her little nook between the buildings and curled up on her cardboard. Lying there, Lily thought about her birthday. There was no cake, no happy birthday, no hugs. A tear rolled down her dirty face. She remembered another birthday, a long time ago. There was a woman singing, a cake with candles, lots of smiles. But that memory felt like a distant dream. Lily sniffled, wiping her nose on her sleeve. Tomorrow would be another day. Maybe she would find more food, maybe a better place to stay. Maybe she hoped she would meet someone kind who could help her. With that thought, Lily closed her eyes. The city's noise was like a strange lullaby. Cars, distant conversations, faint music. Slowly, Lily started to relax. Before drifting off, she made a birthday wish. Not for cake or a toy, but for something more important. Lily wished she wouldn't be alone anymore. And so, curled up in her makeshift shelter, 4-year-old Lily fell asleep in a big, frightening city, but with a small spark of hope still flickering in her heart. The next day arrived with new challenges. Lily woke up early, as always. Her body ached from sleeping on the hard ground, but she was used to it. She stretched and left her hiding spot, ready for another day of adventures and dangers. First, she had to find food. Lily knew a few tricks. Sometimes people threw away decent leftovers in the trash behind restaurants. She headed to a street lined with bars and diners, hoping to find something to eat. Luck! Behind one diner, Lily found a bag with sandwich scraps. They weren't fresh, but they were edible. She sat in a corner and ate slowly, savoring every bite. With her stomach a bit less empty, Lily decided to explore. She loved looking at store windows, imagining what it would be like to have all those pretty things. She passed by a toy store and spent a long time gazing at the teddy bears in the window. How wonderful it would be to have a cuddly friend to hug. But Lily knew she couldn't stay in one place for too long. It was dangerous, so she kept walking, always alert. She had learned how to be invisible, to blend in with the crowd, a very important skill for a child alone on the street. In the afternoon, the sky turned dark. Lily felt the first raindrops and ran for cover. She found a store awning and huddled beneath it. The rain came down hard now, splashing in puddles. Lily hugged her knees, shivering a little. Rainy days were the worst. Everything got wet and cold, food was harder to find, and people tended to be grumpier. While waiting for the rain to stop, Lily watched people running around with their umbrellas. She saw a girl about her age, holding her mother's hand, laughing and splashing through puddles. Lily felt a pang of envy and longing. Finally, the rain eased. Lily left her shelter, her clothes slightly damp. She needed to find a place to spend the night. Her usual spot would be wet now. After searching for a while, Lily found a dry place under the stairs of a building. It wasn't ideal, but it would do for one night. She settled there, exhausted from a long day. Lying on the cold floor, Lily thought about her life. Why was she alone? Where was her family? Sometimes she had muddled flashbacks, a house with yellow curtains, the smell of good food, the sound of laughter. But they were just fragments that vanished whenever she tried to hold on to them. Lily sighed, feeling the weight of her loneliness. She was far too small to be on her own in this world, but she was strong, she was clever. She had survived so far, right? Tomorrow would be another day. And who knew? Maybe tomorrow would be the day someone found her, someone who could take care of her. With that comforting thought, Lily closed her eyes. The city's noise lulled her to sleep once more. And so ended another day for little Lily, a 4-year-old girl fighting to survive on the streets of a large, indifferent city. Lily woke up to the smell of fresh bread. Her stomach growled, reminding her she hadn't eaten since the day before. She emerged from her hiding place beneath the stairs, stretching in the morning sunlight. Following that delicious aroma, she came upon a bakery. The display window showed colorful cakes and all sorts of breads. Lily stood there staring longingly, almost tasting them in her imagination. A woman left the bakery and accidentally dropped a roll on the sidewalk. Lily waited until the woman walked away, then picked it up. It was warm and soft. She ate slowly, savoring every bite. With her belly a bit less empty, Lily decided to wander around. She walked past busy streets, looking at shop windows. In a toy store, she saw a doll with brown hair just like hers. She wondered what it would be like to play with it. Farther on, a pastry shop caught her attention. The cakes in the window were beautiful, full of colors and decorations. Lily daydreamed about having one of those for her birthday. While admiring the sweets, something on the ground caught her eye. Near a bustling cafe, there was a black wallet. Lily looked around. No one seemed to have noticed it. Her heart pounded. A wallet usually meant money, and money could buy food, maybe even a warm place to sleep. Lily approached slowly, pretending to tie her shoelace. But when she picked up the wallet, she hesitated. A small voice inside her said it wasn't right to keep someone else's things. Where did that thought come from? Perhaps a distant memory from when she had a home and a family. Lily stood still, holding the wallet. What should she do? Her stomach growled, but that little voice wouldn't quiet down. After a lot of thought, she decided to try to find the owner. She looked around for someone who might have lost it. People bustled past, not paying her any attention. Lily noticed a man in a suit talking on his phone. He looked important and busy. Normally, she would avoid adults, but this time was different. She gathered her courage and approached him. The man was so absorbed in his conversation that he didn't notice her. Lily cleared her throat, trying to get his attention. He glanced down, looking annoyed at the interruption. "Yes." "What is it?" he asked, his voice a bit sharp. Lily swallowed hard. "Mister, did you lose this?" She held out the wallet, her small hands trembling slightly. The man's eyes widened. He patted his suit pockets, only then realizing he had lost his wallet. "Oh my goodness, yes, it's mine. Where did you find it?" "Right there," Lily said, pointing to where she had picked it up. The man took the wallet, checking its contents. Everything was there. He looked at Lily, really seeing her for the first time. A small girl in dirty, outworn clothes, alone on the street. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice gentler now. "Lily," she answered softly. "Well, Lily, you're a very honest girl. Thank you for returning my wallet." He smiled, but the smile soon gave way to a concerned expression. "Where are your parents?" Lily lowered her head. "I don't know," she murmured. The man fell silent for a moment, clearly troubled. "You're alone? How long have you been on your own?" Lily shrugged. She didn't really know. All the days jumbled together in her head. The man's worry grew. He looked around, as if expecting Lily's parents to appear any second. But there was no one. "My name is Jack," he said, kneeling down to her level. "You know, what you did was very special. Many people would have kept the wallet, especially someone in your situation." Lily looked at him, puzzled. "But it wasn't mine," she said simply. Jack smiled. "Exactly. Yet you still did the right thing." "That shows you're a very good person, Lily." He paused, thinking. "You know, I think such honesty deserves a reward. What do you think?" Lily's eyes widened. "A reward?" Jack nodded. "Yes, a reward. Something to thank you for being so honest." Lily didn't know what to say. No one had ever offered her a reward before. "What would you like, Lily?" Jack asked gently. "Maybe a toy. Or how about a tasty snack?" Lily hesitated. Her eyes drifted across the street to the pastry shop, where colorful cakes still gleamed in the window. She bit her lip, summoning courage. "Actually," she began, her voice almost a whisper, "it's my birthday today. I've never had a real birthday cake." Jack looked surprised. "Your birthday? How old are you?" "4," Lily replied, holding up 4 dirty little fingers. Jack's expression softened, a mix of compassion and sadness in his eyes. "4 years old? And you're alone on the street on your birthday?" Lily nodded, a lump forming in her throat. She started to cry. Jack was silent for a moment, clearly moved. Then he smiled gently. "Well, we can't let your birthday go by without a celebration, can we? How about we go to that pastry shop and let you pick out any cake you want?" Lily's eyes lit up. "Really? I can?" "Of course," Jack answered, holding out his hand to her. "Let's go. You deserve a birthday cake." Lily took Jack's hand, feeling a mix of emotions she couldn't fully understand. Fear, hope, joy, all rolled into one. As they headed toward the pastry shop, Lily couldn't help thinking that maybe, just maybe, this birthday would be different. Perhaps this would be the day everything began to change. And so, hand in hand, the little birthday girl and the stranger who became her benefactor crossed the street, heading into an uncertain but promising future. Jack watched Lily as she chose her birthday cake, her eyes glowing with excitement. Something about the scene stirred memories he had long forgotten from his own childhood. Flashbacks flooded his mind. Lavish birthday parties in enormous mansions, extravagant decorations, gifts that cost more than many people earned in a year. Jack saw himself as a child, surrounded by luxury, yet strangely empty. He remembered his 10th birthday. His parents had hired an entire circus to perform in the garden, clowns, jugglers, trapeze artists, all to impress the guests. Jack received a pony that day, something he had half-jokingly asked for. But what stood out most in that memory wasn't the grandeur of the celebration, but his parents' absence. They appeared briefly, posed for a few photos, then disappeared, leaving him under the care of nannies. Another memory surfaced. His first car at 16, a brand new sports model. His friends were awestruck, but all Jack could think about was how his father wasn't even there to hand him the keys. It was just another expensive gift meant to make up for a lack of time and attention. As he grew older, Jack became accustomed to this life of excess: international trips, designer clothes, dinners at 5-star restaurants. It all became ordinary, almost meaningless. Without realizing it, he lost the ability to appreciate life's simple pleasures. Snapping back to the present, Jack saw Lily tasting a bit of cake, her eyes closing in pure delight as she savored its sweetness. That expression of sheer joy over something so simple hit him like a punch to the gut. When was the last time he felt such genuine happiness? When did he stop marveling at the little things in life? Jack realized that somewhere along his quest for success, he had lost something precious. Looking at Lily, Jack made a decision. He couldn't change his past, but he could do something significant right now. Before seeking official help for Lily's situation, he would give her a special day. A day full of simple, meaningful experiences he wished he'd had in his own childhood. "Lily," he called softly. The girl looked up at him, icing smudged on her face. "How would you like to spend the whole day together? We can do anything you want. After all, it's your birthday." Lily's eyes widened with surprise, then filled with a joy Jack had never seen before. At that moment, he knew he was doing the right thing. As Lily enthusiastically listed all the things she wanted to do, Jack felt something strange in his chest, like a block of ice melting, replaced by a warmth he hadn't felt in years. He didn't know exactly what the future held for Lily or for himself, but he knew one thing. This day would be unforgettable for both of them. And maybe, just maybe, he could relearn how to appreciate life's simple wonders through the eyes of this little birthday girl. The sun had barely risen when Jack parked his luxury car in front of the temporary shelter where Lily had spent the night. He felt eager, almost nervous, like he was the one about to have a day of adventures. Lily emerged from the building, her eyes still sleepy, but her face lit up when she saw Jack. She wore fresh, clean clothes, courtesy of the shelter, and her hair was styled in 2 simple braids. "Good morning, birthday girl," Jack greeted her warmly. "Ready for the best day of your life?" Lily nodded enthusiastically, her initial shyness quickly replaced by excitement. Their first stop was a charming bakery in the city center. The aroma of fresh bread and just brewed coffee filled the air as they entered. Jack told Lily she could choose whatever she wanted for breakfast. Wide-eyed before so many options, Lily finally settled on a chocolate croissant and a big cup of strawberry milk. Jack opted for an espresso and a whole wheat roll, watching in fascination as Lily savored each bite of her croissant like it was the most delicious thing in the world. "I've never eaten anything so good," she said between bites, chocolate crumbs around her mouth. Jack felt a pang in his chest. Something as simple as a fresh croissant was a new experience for this child. He made a mental note never to take the small joys of life for granted again. After breakfast, they headed to a toy store. Jack told Lily she could pick out any toy she wanted as a birthday present. For a moment, she froze at the vast array of options, her eyes darting from one shelf to another. Finally, she approached a brown teddy bear almost as big as she was. Her tiny hand stroked its soft fur, and she looked at Jack with a silent question in her eyes. "Is that the one you want?" Jack asked gently. Lily nodded, hugging the bear tightly. "Then it's yours," Jack smiled, taking the bear up to the cash register. Their next stop was a nearby amusement park. Lily's eyes sparkled at the sight of roller coasters, Ferris wheels, and colorful carousels. Jack bought unlimited ride passes, determined to give Lily all the experiences she'd never had before. They started with the carousel. Lily chose a white horse with a golden mane, and Jack stood beside her, holding her securely as it went around. Lily's laughter echoed in the air, pure and bright, making Jack smile involuntarily. Next was the kiddie roller coaster. Lily was nervous at first, clinging tightly to Jack's arm, but once the ride started, her fear turned into pure excitement. She squealed with delight at every twist and turn, her hair flying in the wind. They spent hours at the park, trying every ride Lily was allowed on. Jack watched with a mix of happiness and nostalgia as each new experience lit up her face. He wondered how many of these simple joys he himself had missed in his privileged childhood, always chasing the next more expensive toy or exclusive attraction. For lunch, Jack took Lily to a themed children's restaurant, where the servers dressed up as fairy tale characters and the food came on castle or dragon-shaped plates. Lily was enchanted by everything, from the illustrated menu to the milkshake topped with a tiny, colorful umbrella. "Jack," Lily said softly between bites, "this is the best day of my life." Jack felt a lump in his throat. "Mine too, Lily," he replied sincerely. After lunch, they returned to the pastry shop where it had all begun. It was time for Lily to choose her birthday cake. She spent long minutes admiring each creation in the display case before settling on a chocolate cake with strawberry frosting and little sugar stars. While waiting for the cake to be packed, Jack noticed Lily watching a group of children entering the shop with their parents. Her eyes held a mix of happiness, sadness, and perhaps a bit of envy. "Lily," Jack asked gently, "are you thinking about your family? Lily nodded slowly. "Sometimes I remember my mom," she said in a low voice. "She had a pretty smile, but I can't remember why I'm alone now." Jack's heart clenched. He knew that no matter how wonderful this day had been, it couldn't erase Lily's past or magically fix her situation. But maybe it could be the start of something new. "Lily," he began carefully, "I promise I'll do everything I can to help you find a home, a place where you can be happy and safe every day, not just on your birthday." Lily looked at him, her eyes filled with cautious hope. "You promise?" "I promise," Jack answered, feeling the weight of that commitment but knowing it was the right thing to do. With the cake in hand, they headed to their final destination of the day, the shelter where Lily was temporarily staying. Jack had arranged for a small birthday party with the other children and staff. When they arrived, they were greeted by a chorus of surprise and happy birthday. The shelter's common room was decorated with colorful balloons and a banner wishing Lily a happy birthday. Lily stood still for a moment, her eyes wide with surprise and emotion. Then, slowly, a huge smile spread across her face. The other kids in the shelter gathered around Lily, curious about her new teddy bear and eager to taste the cake. Jack watched from a distance, feeling a swirl of emotions he couldn't fully name. When it was time to sing Happy Birthday, Jack joined the group. Lily stood in the center, her eyes shining in the glow of the candles, hugging her teddy tightly. As she closed her eyes to make a wish, Jack found himself making a wish too, that he could make a difference in this child's life, and maybe rediscover something he had lost in himself. After the kids ate cake and played, it was time for Jack to leave. He knelt down to Lily's eye level. "Thank you for letting me share your birthday with you, Lily," he said softly. "It was a very special day for me too." Lily surprised him with a tight hug. "Thank you, Jack," she whispered. "No one has ever been so nice to me before." Jack felt tears fill his eyes. He hugged her back, silently promising that this would not be the end of their journey together. As he left the shelter, Jack knew his life had changed forever. The day he had planned to bring joy to a lonely child had ended up awakening parts of himself he thought were long gone. In his luxury car, driving back to his penthouse, Jack found himself smiling. For the first time in years, he felt truly alive, truly connected to something bigger than himself. Tomorrow, he would start handling the practical details, contacting social services, maybe even considering adoption. But for today, he allowed himself to simply feel the joy of having made a difference in someone's life. Jack knew the road ahead would be challenging. Transforming Lily's life, and in the process and his own, wouldn't be easy. There would be obstacles, red tape, perhaps resistance from people who wouldn't understand why a successful businessman cared so much about a homeless child. But glancing at the teddy bear on the passenger seat, Lily had insisted he keep it tonight so he wouldn't feel lonely. Jack knew he was on the right path. For the first time in a very long while, he was excited about what the future held. Somewhere in the city, in a simple bed at the shelter, a little girl named Lily fell asleep with a smile on her face, dreaming of carousels, birthday cakes, and, for the first time in a long while, the possibility of a better tomorrow. Early the next morning, Jack woke up feeling a new sense of resolve. The previous day had been magical, but he knew reality awaited. As he drank his coffee, he was already on the phone, scheduling meetings and making calls. His first stop was at the office of a highly recommended private investigator, Elena Wright. Jack explained Lily's situation, emphasizing the importance of discretion and urgency. "We need to find out everything we can about Lily's past," Jack told Elena, "who her parents are, why she ended up on the streets, whether there's any relative who can take care of her." Elena listened intently, taking notes. "It won't be easy, Mr. Thompson. Street children often don't leave many clues, but I'll do my best." Jack nodded, handing Elena an envelope. "Here's an advance. Use all necessary resources. Money is not an issue." Leaving Elena's office, Jack headed to the shelter where Lily was staying. He had promised to visit her regularly and didn't want to break that promise on the very first day. When he arrived at the shelter, he found Lily in the yard, playing with other children. Her face lit up when she saw him. "Jack!" she shouted, running to hug him. Jack knelt down to receive her embrace, feeling a wave of affection that caught him by surprise. Hey, Lily! How are you today? Lily began talking excitedly about her morning, the new friends she had made, and the breakfast she ate. Jack listened attentively, amazed at how she already seemed happier and more confident in just one day. Sandra, the social worker assigned to Lily's case, approached them. "Mr. Thompson, could we speak for a moment?" Jack nodded, turning to Lily. "Hey, sweetie, how about you go play a bit more while I talk to Sandra? Then maybe we can go for a walk, okay?" Lily agreed enthusiastically and ran back to her friends. Sandra led Jack to her office. "Mr. Thompson, I really appreciate what you did for Lily. She seems like a different child today, but I need to understand your long-term intentions." Jack took a deep breath. "To be honest, Sandra, I'm still figuring that out myself. I know I can't just show up in her life and then disappear. I'm considering all options, including..." He hesitated for a second. "Including the possibility of adoption." Sandra looked surprised. "Adoption is a very serious step, Mr. Thompson. It's not a decision to be made in the heat of the moment." "I know," Jack replied. "That's why I hired an investigator to find out more about Lily's past. If she has family who can care for her, that would be ideal. But if she doesn't, well, I want to be prepared to do what's best for her." Sandra nodded, looking more reassured. "I understand. I appreciate your thoughtful approach. We'll work together to ensure the best for Lily." After talking with Sandra, Jack spent the rest of the afternoon with Lily. They strolled through the park near the shelter, ate ice cream, and chatted about everything and nothing at all. During this time, Jack gently tried to glean more information about Lily's past. "Do you remember where you used to live, Lily? Or your mom's name?" Lily frowned, thinking hard. "I remember a house with yellow curtains, and I think my mom's name was Sarah, but I'm not sure." Jack mentally noted these details for Elena. Every small fact could be important. At the end of the day, as Jack prepared to leave, Lily surprised him with a question. "Jack, are you coming back tomorrow?" Jack's heart tightened at the mix of hope and fear in her eyes. "Of course, Lily. I promise I'll visit you every day, okay?" Lily's smile was all the reward he needed. In the days that followed, Jack established a new routine. In the mornings, he took care of his business, delegating more responsibilities to his team. In the afternoons, he visited Lily at the shelter, sometimes taking her on short outings or activities. Elena, the investigator, provided regular updates. She was following various leads, but progress was slow. "We're looking for needles in haystacks, Mr. Thompson," she explained. "But we won't give up." Meanwhile, Lily thrived at the shelter. She made friends, participated in basic classes offered by volunteers, and seemed happier every day. But Jack noticed she still had moments of sadness, especially when she saw other children being visited by relatives. One afternoon, about 2 weeks after Lily's birthday, Jack received an urgent call from Elena. "Mr. Thompson, I think we've got a solid lead," she said, her voice tense with excitement. "We found records of a Sarah Coleman who reported her daughter Lily missing about 6 months ago. The details match." Jack's heart raced. "Where is she now?" "That's the issue," Elena replied. "Her last known address was a shelter across town. We're trying to locate her, but it appears she moved recently." Jack felt a swirl of emotions, relief that Lily had a mother searching for her, but also dread at the thought of parting with Lily. "Keep looking, Elena," he said. "We have to find her." That afternoon, when Jack went to see Lily, he found her drawing in the shelter's courtyard. She held up the drawing for him. A house with yellow curtains and 2 stick figures, a big one and a small one, holding hands in front of it. "It's the house where I lived with my mom," Lily explained. "I remembered more today." Jack sat beside her, his heart heavy with the knowledge he now possessed. "Lily," he began gently, "would you like to see your mom again?" Lily's eyes widened. You know where she is?" "Not yet," Jack answered honestly, "but we're looking for her, and I think we'll find her soon." Lily was silent for a moment, absorbing the information. Then, to Jack's surprise, she began to cry. Hey, Jack said, hugging her. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Between sobs, Lily managed to say, What if she doesn't want me anymore? What if she's mad at me for getting lost?" Jack felt his heart break. "Oh, Lily," he said, holding her close. "I'm sure your mum loves you very much and has been worried sick about you." Gradually, Lily calmed down in Jack's arms. Right then, he realized how important she had become to him. The thought of losing her hurt, but he knew he had to do what was best for Lily. "I promise I'll do everything I can to bring you back to your mum," Jack said softly. "And no matter what happens, I'll always be your friend, okay?" Lily nodded, still clinging to him. "Do you promise you won't forget me?" "Never," Jack replied firmly. "You'll always be special to me, Lily." That night, after leaving Lily at the shelter, Jack drove aimlessly through the city, his mind swirling with thoughts and emotions. He knew he was doing the right thing by looking for Lily's mother, yet the idea of being separated from her made him feel hollow. He stopped at an overlook with a view of the city and pondered how his life had changed in such a short time. Just a few weeks ago, he was focused only on business and financial success. Now, here he was, deeply involved in the life of a child he'd met by chance. His phone rang, snapping him out of his thoughts. It was Eleanor. "Mr. Thompson," she said, her voice urgent. "We found Sarah Coleman. She's at another shelter about 20 miles away. She's still looking for Lily." Jack felt a wave of conflicting emotions, relief that Lily might be reunited with her mother, sadness at the inevitable goodbye, and renewed determination to do what was best for the little girl who had captured his heart. "Thank you, Elena," he replied, his voice steady. "We'll go there first thing in the morning. It's time for Lily to go home." Hanging up, Jack gazed once more at the city lights below. Tomorrow would be a new chapter in Lily's life, and in his. He didn't know exactly what the future held, but one thing was certain. His life would never be the same after meeting that brave little girl who returned his wallet on a lucky day. Jack was in his office, reviewing some documents, when his phone rang. It was Elena, the private investigator he'd hired to uncover Lily's past. "Mr. Thompson, I have important information. May I come by in half an hour?" The urgency in Elena's voice made Jack's heart pound. "So of course I'll be waiting." 30 minutes later, Elena walked into his office, holding a thick folder. Her usually composed face showed signs of agitation. "Mr. Thompson, what we discovered is, well, surprising," she began, taking a seat in front of Jack's desk. "What did you find, Elena? Is it about Lily's mother?" Elena nodded, opening the folder. "Yes, we found Lily's mother. Her name is Sarah Coleman, 28 years old. But there's more, much more." She paused, as though organizing her thoughts. "Mr. Thompson, our investigation revealed that Sarah Coleman is actually your second cousin." Jack felt the air leave the room. "What? How can that be?" Eleanor began to explain, showing him old documents and photos. "Sarah is the daughter of Margaret Coleman, born Margaret Thompson. Margaret was your aunt, your father's sister." Jack leaned back in his chair, stunned. Long-buried memories started to surface. He vaguely remembered hearing about an aunt who left the family after a big fight, but the details had always been murky. "Apparently," Elena continued, "there was a major family dispute about 30 years ago. Margaret fell in love with someone her family disapproved of. When she married him anyway, she was disinherited and cut off." Jack ran a hand over his face, trying to process everything. "And Sarah, does she know this?" Elena shook her head. "From what we can tell, no. Margaret rarely talked about her family. When Margaret died 5 years ago, Sarah was basically left on her own." Jack stood up, walking over to the window. His mind was in turmoil. Not only did Lily have a mother, but that mother was his family, relatives he hadn't even known existed. "Where is Sarah now?" he asked, and still looking out the window. "She's in a shelter across town," Elena said. "She's been searching desperately for Lily since they were separated 6 months ago." Jack turned around. "How did they get separated?" Elena checked her notes. "It was during a bus trip. Sarah was taking Lily to visit a friend in another city. They stopped at a crowded terminal for a break, and in all the commotion, Lily got lost. Sarah searched for hours but couldn't find her. Since then, she's been living in shelters, spending all her time and resources trying to locate her daughter." Jack sank into his chair, feeling the weight of this revelation. His thoughts turned to Lily, the small girl who had touched his heart. Now, knowing she was in some way part of his own family, his feelings intensified. "What should I do, Elena?" he asked, more to himself than to the investigator. Elena looked at him sympathetically. Only you can decide that, Mr. Thompson. But if I may offer an opinion, I think Lily and Sarah both deserve to know the truth and have a chance to reunite. Jack nodded slowly. You're right. They need to see each other. But how do I approach this? How do I explain it to Lily? And to Sarah? Maybe start with Lily, Elena suggested. Prepare her for the fact that we found her mother. Then we can arrange a meeting. Jack agreed. He knew it would be a hard conversation with Lily. She had become attached to him, and he worried how she would react to the news. In the following days, Jack prepared himself emotionally. He visited Lily at the shelter daily, watching her with new eyes, seeing echoes of a family he never knew. Finally, the day came when he decided to tell Lily. Sitting on a park bench near the shelter, Jack began gently, Lily, remember when we talked about finding your family? She nodded, her big eyes locked on his. Well, we found someone very special. We found your mother, Lily. Lily's eyes widened, a mix of emotions crossing her face. My mom. Jack nodded, taking her hand. Yes, sweetheart, she's been looking for you all this time. She loves you very much and really wants to see you. Lily was silent for a moment, processing the information. Then, to Jack's surprise, she started crying. Hey, he said, hugging her. It's okay. I know it's a lot to take in. Between sobs, Lily managed, I thought she didn't want me anymore. Jack's heart ached. Oh, Lily, no. Your mom loves you so much. You just got separated, but she never stopped looking for you. Slowly, Lily calmed down in Jack's arms. When she finally pulled away, her eyes were red, but there was a glimmer of hope in them. Can I see her? Jack smiled gently. Of course you can. In fact, we can go see her tomorrow if you want. Lily nodded enthusiastically, then paused. Jack, you'll come with me, won't you? Of course, he assured her. I'll be right there the whole time. That night, after leaving Lily at the shelter, Jack drove around the city, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. He still hadn't told Lily about the family connection. He decided it was best to wait until mother and daughter were reunited. Jack reflected on how his life had changed drastically in just a few weeks, from a solitary businessman fixated on financial success to someone deeply invested in the life of a child he now knew was family. The implications of this discovery were massive. Jack wondered what his relationship with Sarah and Lily would look like going forward. He wanted to help them, to give them a better life, but how to do that without coming across as patronizing or intrusive? Parking at an overlook with a view of the city, Jack stood there, lost in thought. He knew that whatever happened in the next few days would change his life forever. Part of him was terrified by that prospect, but another part, a part he hardly recognized, was excited. For the first time in years, Jack felt he was doing something truly meaningful. It wasn't about money or status. It was about family, about connection, about giving and receiving love. Gazing at the city lights below, Jack made a silent promise. Whatever happened, he would do everything in his power to help Lily and Sarah have the life they deserved. And maybe, just maybe, he would be a part of that happiness too. With a deep sigh, Jack started his car. Tomorrow would be a big day, a day of reunions, revelations, and he hoped, new beginnings. As he drove back home, he felt more alive and purposeful than he had in a very long time. Morning arrived with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Jack woke up early, his mind already focused on the day ahead. He'd spent the previous night planning how to make the reunion between Lily and Sarah as smooth and comfortable as possible. He arrived at the shelter shortly after breakfast. Lily was waiting for him in the lobby, clutching her teddy bear, her eyes large with a blend of hope and fear. "Ready, kiddo?" Jack asked gently, kneeling down to her eye level. Lily nodded, biting her lip. "What if she doesn't like me anymore, Jack?" Jack's heart constricted. "Oh, Lily, that's impossible. Your mom loves you very much. She's been searching for you all this time." With reassuring words and a steady hand, Jack led Lily to his car. During the drive to the shelter where Sarah was, he kept the conversation light, trying to distract Lily from her nerves. When they arrived, they were met by a social worker who escorted them to a private room. "Sarah is next door," the woman informed them. "I'll bring her in shortly. Would you like a few minutes to prepare?" Jack glanced at Lily, who clutched her teddy bear tightly. "What do you think, Lily? Are you ready to see your mom?" Lily took a deep breath and nodded bravely. "I'm ready." While they waited, Jack knelt down again. "Remember, I'll be here the whole time. If you need anything, just say so, okay?" Lily hugged him tightly, and Jack felt a surge of protection and affection for this little girl who had entered his life so unexpectedly. The door opened, and Sarah walked in hesitantly. She was young, with the same brown hair as Lily and eyes that looked like they'd cried for days. For a moment, time seemed to freeze as mother and daughter looked at each other, as if they couldn't believe they were truly face to face. "Mommy?" Lily's voice was barely a whisper. "Oh, Lily!" Sarah dropped to her knees, opening her arms. "My baby!" Lily rushed into her mother's arms and they hugged, laughing and crying at the same time. Jack stood by, feeling his own eyes fill with tears. It was a moment of pure emotion, so powerful he almost felt like an intruder. For several minutes, mother and daughter held each other, murmuring words of love and relief. When they finally drew apart, Sarah held Lily's face in her hands, as though she wanted to memorize every detail. "My Lily, my little flower," Sarah sobbed. "I looked for you everywhere. I thought I had lost you forever." Lily sniffled, still clinging to her mother. "I was scared, Mommy. I didn't know how to find you." Sarah began explaining, her voice thick with emotion. "It was at that bus station, remember? It was so crowded, so many people. I let go of your hand for 1 second to grab our bags, and when I turned around..." She swallowed hard, the memory clearly painful. "You were gone. I shouted your name, searched for hours. The police helped, but... Oh, Lily, it was the worst time of my life." Lily hugged her mother again. "I tried to find you, Mommy. But there were so many people, and I got lost in the city." They began sharing their experiences from the past few months. Sarah spoke of sleeping in shelters, using all her savings for flyers and ads, hoping to find Lily. Lily, in turn, talked about her life on the streets, the cold nights and constant fear. Jack watched, deeply moved. Seeing the love between mother and daughter, still strong after months of separation, made him reflect on his own life. He'd always thought he had everything: money, success, power. But now he saw a void in his life he hadn't realized existed until he met Lily. After a while, Sarah finally lifted her eyes and noticed Jack for the first time. She looked at him with a mix of gratitude and suspicion. "You must be Mr. Thompson," she said, her voice still raw with emotion. "The social worker told me. Thank you for taking care of my Lily." Jack stepped closer, feeling oddly nervous. "It was my pleasure, Sarah. Lily is an amazing little girl." An awkward silence followed. Jack knew he had to reveal the truth about their family connection, but he hesitated, not wanting to spoil this emotional reunion. "Sarah," he began carefully, "there's something I need to tell you. Something I discovered recently that, well, it changes a lot of things." Sarah frowned, instinctively pulling Lily closer. "What do you mean?" Jack took a deep breath. "While searching for you, we uncovered something surprising. Sarah we're related. You're my second cousin." The shock on Sarah's face was unmistakable. "What? How?" Jack explained about Margaret, the aunt who had left the family decades before DD, and the family feud that effectively erased her from their history. Sarah listened in silence, her face a storm of conflicting emotions. When Jack finished, she remained quiet for a long moment. "Why are you telling me this now?" she finally asked, her voice laced with suspicion. "What do you want from us?" Jack was taken aback by the hostility in her voice. I only want to help, Sarah. Your family. I want to do what's best for Lily, for both of you." Sarah stood, still holding Lily protectively. "And what exactly do you think is best for us, Mr. Thompson? You think you can come here with your money and status and just... what? Save us?" Jack shifted uncomfortably, realizing how his offer might come across. It's not like that, Sarah. I only want what? Sarah interrupted. To make up for the years your family abandoned us. Or maybe you want to take Lily away from me. Is that it? No, Jack exclaimed, horrified by the suggestion. I'd never do that. I just want to help you have a better life. Lily looked back and forth between them, clearly frightened by the rising tension. Please don't fight, she said in a small voice. Lily's plea seemed to bring Sarah and Jack back to reality. Sarah took a deep breath, visibly trying to calm down. I'm sorry, she said, though her voice still held an edge. It's a lot to process all at once. I just got my daughter back, and now you're telling me we're related and want to help us. How am I supposed to react? Jack nodded, understanding her confusion and distrust. You're right. I shouldn't have dropped everything on you at once. Look, how about this? I'll give you and Lily some time alone to reconnect. We can talk about everything else later when you're ready. How does that sound? Sarah seemed to relax slightly. That would be good. Thank you. Jack turned to leave, but Lily grabbed his hand. You'll come back, won't you, Jack? He knelt down, smiling gently at her. Of course I will, little one, whenever you want me to. As Jack left the room, he felt Sarah's gaze on his back. He knew he had a long road ahead to earn her trust, but he was determined to try. Not just for Lily, but for this newly discovered family that meant so much to him already. Outside, Jack leaned against the wall, letting out a long, weary sigh. The day had been emotionally exhausting, and he knew it was just the beginning. There were so many issues to resolve, so many bridges to build. But as he stood there, listening to the soft murmurs of Lily and Sarah reunited in the next room, Jack felt a wave of determination. No matter how hard it would be, he'd do whatever it took to help this family, his family, start anew. With that thought, Jack pushed away from the wall and headed toward the exit. He would give Lily and Sarah all the time they needed, but he'd be ready when they called. After all, for the first time in a very long while, Jack Thompson felt he had a true purpose in life, and he wasn't about to give up. After the emotional reunion of Lily and Sarah, the following days were a whirlwind of feelings and tough decisions. Jack, determined to help his newly discovered family, proposed moving Sarah and Lily out of the shelter as soon as possible. You need a place of your own, Jack said during a conversation with Sarah a few days after they reunited. Somewhere you can start over together. Sarah, still wary of Jack's motives, hesitated. I'm not sure we can accept that, Jack. It's too much. I understand your concern, Jack said gently, but think about Lily. She deserves a stable home, don't you think? The mention of Lily softened Sarah a bit. Yes, she does, but... Look, Jack interjected softly. How about we start small? We can look for a modest apartment, something you can manage on your own later. I just want to give you two a little boost. After much discussion, Sarah agreed to at least look at some options. In the weeks that followed, Jack, Sarah, and Lily visited several apartments. It was a new experience for them all. Jack, used to luxury, had to remind himself to look for something practical and affordable. Sarah struggled with her insecurities. What if we can't keep the apartment later on? She asked Jack during one visit. What if I can't find a job good enough? Jack placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. One step at a time, Sarah. Let's focus on finding a place first. We'll figure out the rest together. Lily, oblivious to the adults' worries, was thrilled at the idea of having her own room. Can I paint the walls pink? She asked excitedly during one tour. Sarah laughed, her first genuine laugh Jack had heard. We'll see, honey. First, we have to pick an apartment. Finally, after a long search, they found the perfect place. A 2-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood, near a good school and with convenient public transportation. Jack insisted on paying the deposit and the first few months' rent. Consider it a welcome to the family gift, he said when Sarah tried to protest. As they prepared to move, Jack noticed how Lily seemed to thrive. She alternated between excitement for her new home and moments of quiet reflection, still processing the huge changes in her life. Uncle Jack, she asked one day while helping pack things, will you visit us in the new apartment? The term Uncle Jack caught him off guard, filling his heart with unexpected emotion. Of course I will, Lily. Anytime you want." Sarah, who was nearby, gave Jack a complicated look, a mix of gratitude and unease. Family dynamics were still uncharted territory for them all. As moving day approached, Sarah's anxiety became more evident. One evening, after Lily had gone to bed, she confessed to Jack, "I'm afraid of failing, of not being able to give Lily the life she deserves." Jack, sensing her vulnerability, spoke carefully. "Sarah, the fact that you care so much already shows you're a great mom. Nobody expects you to do everything alone. I'm here to help, remember?" Sarah nodded, but Jack could tell his words didn't entirely ease her worries. Building trust would take time. On moving day, the small apartment was buzzing with activity. Jack had hired a crew to help, but insisted on working alongside Sarah, carrying boxes and assembling furniture. Lily ran back and forth, exploring every corner of her new home. "Mommy, look, I can see the park from my window." Seeing Lily's excitement, Sarah allowed herself a genuine smile. "It's perfect, sweetheart." When the last box was unpacked and the furniture arranged, the three of them sat in the cozy living room, exhausted but content. "Well," Jack said, glancing around, "I guess you're officially home." Sarah held Lily's hand, her eyes shining with tears that refused to fall. "Yes, we're home." In that moment, Jack felt the weight of his responsibility. He wasn't just helping two people find a new place to live, he was reconnecting with a family he never knew he had. It was both terrifying and thrilling. Before leaving, Jack pulled Sarah aside. "I know we still have a lot to figure out, many conversations ahead, but I want you to know I'm committed to this. To you both." Sarah studied him for a moment before replying, "Thank you, Jack, for everything. I'm still adjusting to all this, but I'm grateful you're here." As Jack prepared to go, Lily ran up to hug him. "Thanks, Uncle Jack. When will you come back?" Jack looked at Sarah, seeking her approval. She nodded slightly. "How about next weekend? We can have a little housewarming lunch." Lily jumped for joy, and even Sarah managed a small smile. Leaving the apartment that night, Jack felt a whirlwind of emotions. There was still a long road ahead, expectations to manage, boundaries to set. But for the first time in a long while, he felt part of something bigger than himself. A family. The sun had barely risen when Lily woke up in her new bedroom. For a moment, she felt disoriented, not recognizing the ceiling above her. Then the events of the previous day flooded back, and a wide smile spread across her face. She jumped out of bed, still in her pajamas, and ran to the window. "Mommy, Mommy!" Lily shouted, rushing to Sarah's room. "It wasn't a dream. We really live here now." Sarah, who was just waking up, couldn't help smiling at her daughter's excitement. "Yes, sweetheart. This is our new home." Lily climbed onto the bed, hugging Sarah tightly. "Can we explore everything again, please?" Sarah laughed, hugging her daughter back. "Of course we can. But how about we have breakfast first?" In the kitchen, Sarah felt a momentary wave of uncertainty. It had been months since she'd had a full kitchen at her disposal. The fridge, thanks to Jack, was stocked with basic supplies. "What would you like to eat, Lily?" Sarah asked, trying to sound confident. "Pancakes!" Lily exclaimed, her eyes lighting up at the possibility. Sarah hesitated. She hadn't made pancakes in a long time. Would she remember how? But seeing Lily's hopeful face, she decided to try. While Sarah mixed the batter, Lily explored the kitchen, opening cabinets and drawers with childish curiosity. "Mommy, we have so many things now." A lump formed in Sarah's throat. It was true. After months of barely getting by, having a fully equipped home felt almost surreal. Soon the smell of pancakes filled the apartment. They weren't perfect. Some were a bit burnt, others undercooked. But for Lily, they were the best pancakes in the world. After breakfast, mother and daughter spent the morning organizing what was left of the move. Lily insisted on arranging her own room, though her idea of organization was somewhat chaotic. Around noon, the doorbell rang. It was Jack, carrying grocery bags. "Uncle Jack!" Lily exclaimed, racing to hug him. "Hey, kiddo!" Jack grinned, returning the hug. He glanced at Sarah. "Hope I'm not interrupting. I thought I'd bring a few things you might need." Sarah felt a mix of gratitude and discomfort. "Thanks, Jack, but you really didn't have to." "I know," Jack interrupted gently. but I wanted to. We're family, remember? The word family still sounded strange to Sarah, but she nodded gratefully. As they unpacked the groceries, Jack mentioned casually, "So, Sarah, have you given any thought to work or school?" Sarah froze for a moment. I'm not sure yet. It's been a long time since I thought about it." Jack nodded understandingly. "No pressure. But if you're interested, I know some people who can help. There's a training program at a company that—" "Jack," Sarah cut him off, her voice tense. "I appreciate it, but I need time to think. All of this is still so new." Jack backed off, realizing he might be moving too fast. "Of course, sorry. Take your time." The afternoon passed with Jack helping them finish setting up. Lily was thrilled to show him every corner of her new room, talking about big plans for decoration. By evening, Jack prepared to leave. "Well, I guess you two need time to settle in. If you need anything, just call." After Jack left, Sarah sat on the couch, exhausted. Lily, still brimming with energy, wandered around the apartment. "Mommy," Lily called from the hallway, "when will I go to school?" The question caught Sarah off guard. With everything going on, she hadn't even thought about it. "Soon, honey. We need to find a good school for you." That night, after putting Lily to bed, Sarah stayed up for hours, her mind racing. School for Lily, a job for herself, bills to pay. The reality of her new life was starting to sink in. The following days were a roller coaster of emotions. Lily alternated between pure delight, jumping on her new bed, playing in the nearby park, and moments of insecurity, asking repeatedly if they could really stay here forever. Sarah, for her part, struggled to adjust. Cooking regular meals, keeping the house tidy, thinking about the future, it was sometimes overwhelming. About a week after the move, Jack arrived with some news. "I found a great elementary school for Lily. It's just a few blocks away." Sarah felt a twinge of irritation. "Jack, I said I needed time." I know, Jack raised his hands in surrender. "But I thought we could at least check it out. No commitment." Reluctantly, Sarah agreed. The next morning, the three of them visited the school. The building was cheerful, with colorful drawings on the walls and a lively playground. Lily was fascinated. "Mommy, look at all the playground equipment." "And there are other kids to play with." The principal welcomed them warmly, explaining the educational program and extracurricular activities. Sarah listened carefully, impressed, but also worried about the cost. When the principal mentioned tuition, Sarah felt her heart sink. It was more than she could afford right now. Sensing her concern, Jack spoke up calmly. "We'd like to know about scholarships or financial aid programs." The principal smiled. "Certainly, we have some options. Let's discuss the details." Later, on the way back home, Sarah was quiet. Jack finally broke the silence. "What did you think, Sarah?" Sarah sighed. "It's a wonderful school, Jack. But I don't know if we can pay for it." "I can help," Jack offered immediately. "No," Sarah said firmly. "I appreciate it, but I need to do this on my own. At least try." Jack nodded, respecting her decision. "Understood, but remember, I'm here if you need me." In the days that followed, Sarah threw herself into job hunting. She updated her resume, searched online listings, and even visited a few employment agencies. Meanwhile, Lily was growing bored without other kids around. "Mommy, when will I have friends to play with?" The innocent question tugged at Sarah's heart. She knew she had to decide about school soon. One evening, after putting Lily to bed, Sarah called Jack. "Do you still know those people at that company with the training program?" Jack, surprised but pleased, answered, "Yes, of course. Want me to arrange an interview?" Sarah took a deep breath. "Please do." The interview was scheduled for the following week. Sarah spent days preparing, researching the company, practicing interview answers. On the interview day, she left Lily with a new neighbor she'd recently met. "Be good, honey. Mommy will be back soon." The interview was intense, but Sarah performed better than she expected. Years of struggling to survive had given her a resilience and determination that impressed the hiring managers. When she exited the building, Jack was waiting outside. "So, how did it go?" Sarah couldn't hide her smile. I think it went well." Jack hugged her, genuinely happy. "I'm sure you did great. You're amazing, Sarah." 2 days later, Sarah got the call that changed everything. She had gotten the job. The news brought a surge of emotions, joy, relief, and a bit of anxiety. How would she balance work and caring for Lily? That was when Sarah made another important decision. She called the school they had visited and set up a meeting to discuss scholarship options for Lily. The following weeks were a whirlwind. Sarah started her new job, learning new skills and adapting to office routines. Lily, meanwhile, began attending school, initially shy but soon making friends and falling in love with learning. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Some nights, Sarah came home exhausted, only to find Lily cranky and in need of attention. Mornings were rushed, with Sarah juggling breakfast prep, Lily's school routine, and her own commute. Jack remained a constant presence, helping out whenever he could. He sometimes picked Lily up from school if Sarah had to work late, or brought dinner on particularly hectic days. Despite his good intentions, this help occasionally caused tension. Sarah felt torn between gratitude and her fierce desire for independence. One day, after Jack suggested hiring a nanny for extra support, Sarah snapped, "I don't need you to solve all my problems, Jack. I'm perfectly capable of looking after my own daughter." Jack was taken aback. "Sarah, I'm just trying to help. I know it's been difficult for you." "You don't know anything," Sarah interrupted, tears in her eyes. "You think you can waltz into our lives with your money and connections and fix everything, but that's not how it works." Lily, who'd been playing in her room, appeared in the doorway, alarmed by the shouting. "Mommy, Uncle Jack, why are you fighting?" The sight of Lily brought both Sarah and Jack to their senses, each feeling guilty for losing their cool. "We're not fighting, sweetheart," Sarah said, forcing a smile. "We were just talking too loudly." Jack knelt by Lily. "Everything's okay, kiddo. Sometimes grown-ups disagree, but that doesn't mean we don't care about each other." After Lily returned to her room, Jack and Sarah sat on the couch, both emotionally drained. "I'm sorry," Sarah said quietly. "I shouldn't have blown up like that." Jack shook his head. "No, I'm the one who's sorry. You're right, I don't really know what it's like to be in your position. I guess I go overboard trying to help," Sarah sighed. "It's just, sometimes I feel like I'm losing control of my own life. Like every decision, every opportunity comes from you." "I'm thankful, Jack, really. But I also need to feel like I can do things myself." Jack nodded, thoughtful. "I understand, and you're absolutely right. I think we need to set some boundaries, define our expectations better." They spent the next hour having an honest, sometimes difficult conversation. Sarah expressed her desire for more independence in making daily decisions for Lily. Jack admitted that his intense involvement was partly due to wanting to make up for years of lost family connection. "How about this?" Jack suggested at last. "I'll step back a bit and let you handle your day-to-day choices. But I want you to know I'm here if you need anything. Not as a savior, but as family." Sarah smiled, feeling relieved. "That sounds good. And Jack, thank you for understanding." In the days that followed, a new balance began to form. Sarah took more control over daily decisions, while Jack maintained a supportive but less intrusive presence. Lily continued to blossom at school, coming home each day with excited stories about new friends and lessons learned. Sarah, seeing her daughter's progress, felt that every challenge was worth it. At work, Sarah was also starting to excel. Her boss praised her work ethic and her ability to learn quickly. For the first time in years, she felt like she was building a career instead of merely surviving. One evening, about 2 months after they moved in, Sarah sat in the living room after putting Lily to bed. She glanced around the apartment, recalling how it had all started, the struggles on the street, the constant fear, the pain of being separated from Lily. Now here they were, with a home, opportunities, and a future ahead of them. Her eyes landed on a recent photo of Lily with Jack, taken during a trip to the park. Despite all the tension and misunderstandings, Sarah couldn't deny the positive impact Jack had had on their lives. At that moment, Sarah made a decision. She picked up her phone and typed a message to Jack. "Thank you for everything. How about a family dinner next weekend? Lily and I would love to have you over." The response came almost instantly. "It would be an honor. I can't wait." Sarah smiled, feeling a wave of peace wash over her. It wouldn't be easy. She knew that. There would be more challenges and adjustments. But for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to feel real hope for the future. She got up and headed to Lily's room, quietly opening the door. Her daughter slept soundly, hugging the teddy bear Jack had given her. Sarah approached the bed, gently stroking Lily's hair. "We did it, my girl," Sarah whispered. "We're really home now." With one last loving glance, Sarah closed the bedroom door and went back to the living room. She picked up a book she'd recently started reading, a luxury she hadn't been able to afford in years, and settled onto the couch. As she turned the pages, she reflected on the changes of the past few weeks. Her new job, Lily's school, Jack's presence in their lives. All of these made up a picture of a life she never dared dream of a few months ago. Of course, there were still uncertainties. The future would always bring challenges. But now Sarah felt she had the tools and support to face them. She was no longer alone. With that comforting thought, Sarah continued reading, savoring the tranquility of the moment. Tomorrow would be another day with its own joys and difficulties. But for now, in this cozy apartment, with her daughter sleeping safe in the next room, Sarah felt at peace. And so, in their new home, mother and daughter rested, ready to face whatever the future brought. A new life had begun, full of possibilities and hope. Weeks passed since Sarah and Lily settled into their new home. A routine had formed. Sarah went to work, Lily to school, and Jack remained a constant, if more discreet, presence in their lives. It was on a Sunday afternoon that Jack arrived with a proposal that made Sarah nervous. "I've been thinking," Jack began after they'd finished lunch, "maybe it's time for you to meet the rest of the family." Sarah nearly spilled her coffee. "The rest of the family, you mean?" Jack nodded. "Yes, our relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins. They don't know about you and Lily yet. I think it's time to change that." Sarah's face went pale. The idea of meeting a family she didn't even know existed made her panic. "I don't know, Jack. I'm not sure I'm ready." "Mommy, who are these people?" Lily asked, curious about the adult conversation. Sarah hesitated, but Jack answered gently, "They're members of our family, Lily. People who would love to meet you and your mum." Lily's eyes lit up. "More family. Like you, Uncle Jack." Jack smiled. "Yes, sweetheart. Just like me." Seeing Lily's excitement, Sarah felt her resolve waver. Maybe it was time to face this part of her past. "Okay," she said at last, "but can we start small? I don't think I can handle a full family reunion right away." Jack nodded, understanding. "Of course. How about starting with my parents, your great-uncle and great-aunt, and maybe a cousin or two? We can do a lunch right here if that's easier." Sarah reluctantly agreed, and preparations began. Over the next few weeks, she oscillated between anxiety and curiosity. Lily, on the other hand, was thrilled at the idea of meeting more family. The day of the gathering arrived faster than Sarah would have liked. She got up early, nervous, checking and rechecking if everything was perfect in the apartment. Jack arrived early, bringing food and trying to calm Sarah's nerves. "It'll be fine," he assured her. "They're going to love you, I'm sure." Right at 11 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Sarah took a deep breath, took Lily's hand, and, with Jack at her side, opened the door. Jack's parents, Eleanor and Georgie, were a middle-aged couple wearing curious and slightly apprehensive expressions. Behind them stood two of Jack's cousins, Michael and Amanda, who also seemed uncertain. "Welcome," Sarah said, her voice trembling slightly. "Please, come in." The beginning was tense and awkward. They introduced themselves, exchanged curious glances, and a heavy silence hung in the air. Lily unwittingly broke the ice. "Are you my great-grandma?" she asked Eleanor innocently. "You look like a fairy tale queen." Eleanor, caught off guard, couldn't help smiling. "Well, I suppose I am, dear. And you must be the princess in this story." From there, the atmosphere began to thaw. Lily, with her childish curiosity and charm, asked questions that made it impossible to remain formal. During lunch, conversation flowed more naturally. Sarah talked about her job, Lily about her school, and gradually, family stories surfaced. Then George mentioned Margaret, Sarah's mother, and the tension returned. She was always a rebel, your mother. She never took no for an answer. Sarah felt a lump form in her throat. She spoke about you sometimes, not always fondly, but she missed the family. A heavy silence fell over the table. Sensing the delicate moment, Jack decided to address the elephant in the room. I think we all made mistakes, he began. The way the family treated Margaret, it wasn't right. And the fact that we didn't look for Sarah and Lily after, well, that's something we have to apologize for. Eleanor dabbed a tear from her eye. Oh dear. If we had any idea. Sarah, feeling the weight of unspoken emotions, finally found her voice. I'm scared too, you know. Afraid I won't belong, that I'm not good enough for this family. But seeing Lily and how easily she's connecting with you all, maybe it's time to let the past go. Sarah's words seemed to break an invisible barrier. Suddenly, stories about Margaret were shared, not with bitterness but with fondness and regret. Sarah heard about a side of her mother she'd never known, and for the first time felt a genuine connection to her family legacy. As the afternoon wore on, the atmosphere lightened. Lily charmed everyone with stories of school, and even the more reserved cousins, Michael and Amanda, opened up, sharing family anecdotes that made Sarah and Lily laugh, particularly about Jack's childhood mischief. When dessert arrived, George surprised everyone by standing up with his glass in hand. I'd like to make a toast, he said, his voice thick with emotion. To family. Not to the family we were with our mistakes and prejudices, but to the family we can be from now on. Sarah, Lily, welcome home. There wasn't a dry eye at the table as everyone raised their glasses. Sarah, overcome by emotion, could only nod, unable to speak. Evening fell and guests began to depart. Hugs were exchanged, promises to meet again were made, and phone numbers were traded. After the last visitor left, Sarah collapsed onto the sofa, exhausted but smiling. Jack joined her, while Lily, tired but happy, curled up in her mother's lap. So, Jack asked gently, how are you feeling? Sarah thought for a moment. Overwhelmed, emotional, still a bit scared. But good, really good. Jack grinned. They adored you, Sarah. And Lily, well, I think she won over everyone's hearts. Lily, half asleep, murmured, Can I see Grandma Eleanor again? She promised to teach me how to bake cookies. Sarah chuckled softly, stroking her daughter's hair. Yes, honey. I think we'll have lots of family gatherings from now on. As Jack helped clean up the kitchen and Sarah tucked Lily into bed, both reflected on the day. It had been a big step, a move toward healing old wounds and forging new bonds. Later, when Jack was about to leave, Sarah impulsively hugged him. Thank you, she whispered, for bringing us back to the family. Jack hugged her back, feeling his own surge of emotion. No, Sarah, thank you for giving us a second chance. When the door closed behind him, Sarah stood there for a moment, absorbing the apartment's silence. She walked to Lily's room, watching her daughter sleep peacefully. Just look at us, my girl, Sarah whispered. Who would have thought we'd have all this? With a final affectionate glance, Sarah gently closed Lily's door and headed to her own bed. Tomorrow would be another day with its own challenges and joys. But for now, for the first time in a long while, Sarah knew she wouldn't be facing them alone. She had a family. An imperfect family, with a complicated history and wounds still healing, but a family nonetheless. And as she drifted off to sleep, Sarah felt more hopeful than she ever had. The months following the family reunion brought significant changes for Sarah, Lily, and Jack. Autumn gave way to winter, and with the changing seasons, their lives transformed in ways none of them could have predicted. Inspired by the reunion and encouraged by Jack, Sarah decided to take a bold step in her career. She enrolled in a professional business management course, something she'd always wanted but never had the opportunity to pursue. Are you sure I can do this? Sarah asked Jack, anxious, on the night before her first class. Jack smiled encouragingly. I'm absolutely sure. You're more capable than you realize, Sarah. The first few weeks were challenging. Sarah juggled her job, caring for Lily and night classes. There were moments she thought about quitting, overwhelmed by her responsibilities. But as time went on, something remarkable happened. Sarah began to blossom. Her eyes lit up when she talked about what she was learning. She applied concepts from the course to her daily work, impressing her superiors with fresh ideas and initiatives. "Mommy, you seem different," Lily observed one day, watching Sarah study at the kitchen table. Sarah looked up from her books, curious. "Different how, sweetheart?" Lily pondered for a moment, brighter, like a star. Lily's innocent words touched Sarah deeply. She realized it wasn't just her knowledge that was growing, her confidence and self-esteem were too. Meanwhile, Jack faced his own challenges. Balancing his involvement with Sarah and Lily and his business wasn't easy. Sometimes important meetings clashed with Lily's school events, or critical negotiations kept him away for days. "I'm sorry I can't make it to Lily's recital," Jack told Sarah over the phone, clearly frustrated. Surprising even herself, Sarah responded with understanding. "It's okay, Jack. We understand your work matters too." That conversation marked a subtle shift in their dynamic. Sarah, once suspicious of Jack's help, now understood and appreciated the balance he was trying to maintain. Jack, in turn, adjusted his business strategies. He delegated more responsibilities, reorganized his schedule, and whenever possible, worked closer to Sarah and Lily. It wasn't unusual to find him at Sarah's kitchen table, laptop open, joining a video conference while Lily did her homework nearby. Lily, unaware of the adult complexities around her, continued to thrive. She became one of the most popular kids in her class, her lively personality and unique story attracting friends and teachers' sympathy. "Miss Thompson," Lily's teacher told Sarah during a parent-teacher meeting, "your daughter has a special gift for connecting with people. She brings a unique perspective to the classroom." Sarah felt her heart swell with pride. Seeing Lily adapt so well to a normal life, making friends, joining extracurriculars, brought a joy she could hardly put into words. As the year progressed, Jack's presence became more natural and constant in their lives. He was no longer just the rich uncle who dropped by occasionally, but a regular part of their day-to-day routine. Sunday dinners became a cherished tradition. Jack would invariably arrive with an elaborate dessert. He'd recently discovered a passion for baking, and the three of them spent the evening talking, laughing, and sometimes making future plans together. It was during one of those dinners that Sarah realized how much her life had changed. Watching Jack help Lily with a particularly tricky jigsaw puzzle, she felt a wave of gratitude and affection that surprised her. "You two look like you're plotting something," Sarah teased, noticing the whispering and giggling between Jack and Lily. Jack feigned innocence. "Us never, right, Lily?" Lily tried and failed to hide a grin. "Nothing at all, Mommy." Sarah narrowed her eyes but decided not to press the issue. Whatever it was, she trusted that Jack wouldn't do anything to harm Lily. Trust. The word echoed in Sarah's mind. When was the last time she truly trusted anyone besides herself? Realizing how stable her life had become, how much she could now trust not just Jack but life itself, hit her with unexpected force. A few weeks later, the reason behind the secretive whispers became clear. Jack and Lily had been planning a surprise party for Sarah's birthday. On the day itself, Sarah came home from work to find the apartment decorated with balloons and streamers, a table loaded with delicious food, and not just Jack and Lily, but also some co-workers, friends from Lily's school, and even a few family members she'd met months ago. "Surprise!" everyone shouted as she walked in. Sarah froze in place, overwhelmed by the scene. Tears welled up in her eyes. Lily ran over to hug her. "Happy birthday, Mommy. Did you like the surprise?" Sarah hugged her daughter tightly. "I loved it, sweetie. It's perfect." The party was a resounding success. Sarah found herself laughing, dancing, and chatting with people who, a year ago, she'd never even met. During a quiet moment, she ended up alone in the kitchen with Jack. "Thank you for this," she said softly. "Not just the party, But everything. Jack smiled, eyes filled with affection. No need to thank me, Sarah. You and Lily have brought so much joy into my life. I'm the one who should be thanking you. As the party continued in the living room, Sarah reflected on the past year, her struggles, fears, and uncertainties, and now, this celebration of life and love. With Lily's birthday approaching, they started planning early. It would be Lily's first normal birthday with friends, family, and all the joys every child deserves. "What do you want for your birthday this year, honey?" Sarah asked Lily one night while tucking her into bed. Lily thought for a moment. "Actually, Mommy, I already have everything I want. I have you, Uncle Jack, my friends. I just want everyone to be happy." Sarah felt her heart melt at her daughter's words. "Oh, Lily, you are the best gift I could ever have." On the eve of Lily's birthday, Sarah, Jack, and Lily sat in the living room, reminiscing about the past year. "Remember the day we met, Lily?" Jack asked, smiling at the girl. Lily nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, I found your wallet and gave it back. Then you bought me a birthday cake." Sarah laughed. "That day changed our lives, didn't it?" Jack looked at them both, his expression serious yet filled with emotion. "It changed mine too. I had no idea how much I was missing until I met you two." Sarah reached out and took Jack's hand. "We're a strange little family, aren't we? But somehow it works." Lily, sensing the warmth of the moment, hugged both of them. "We're the best family in the world." That night, after Lily went to bed, Sarah and Jack stayed up talking. "If someone had told me a year ago we'd be here today," Sarah mused, "I'd have thought they were crazy." Jack nodded. "Life has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it?" Sarah looked at him, really looked, seeing not just the successful man she'd first met, but the friend, Lily's uncle, the supportive anchor he had become. "Jack," she said softly, "thank you for not giving up on us, for believing we deserved a chance." Jack gently squeezed her hand, his touch comforting. "Sarah, you two gave me a purpose, a family. I should be thanking you." When Jack left that night, Sarah stood by the window, watching him drive away. She thought of all the changes over the past year, how she'd gone from a desperate, homeless single mother to a confident woman with a job, studying, raising her daughter in a loving home. She thought of Lily, how her daughter had blossomed from a frightened, solitary child into a happy, social, vibrant girl. And she thought of Jack, the stranger who had become family, whose generosity and caring had altered the course of their lives. Tomorrow would be Lily's birthday, a celebration not just of another year of life, but of all the transformations, big and small, that had taken place. Sarah went to bed that night with a heart full of gratitude and hope. The future, once so terrifying and uncertain, now shone with promise. And so, on the eve of Lily's birthday, Sarah fell asleep with a smile on her face, eager for what the new day and the new year would bring for their little, deeply loved family. The day dawned bright and clear, as though the sun itself wanted to celebrate Lily's birthday. Sarah woke up early, filled with a mix of excitement and nostalgia. Exactly 1 year ago, her daughter had been alone on the streets, unsure of her next meal. Today, Lily would wake up in a warm bed, surrounded by love, with a brilliant future ahead. Sarah tiptoed into Lily's room and watched her daughter sleeping peacefully. Sitting on the edge of the bed, she gently ran her fingers through Lily's hair. "Happy birthday, my love," Sarah whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Lily stirred, slowly opening her eyes. A huge smile spread across her face when she saw her mum. "It's my birthday." They hugged tightly, a moment of pure joy and gratitude. The morning passed in a whirlwind of preparations. Jack arrived early, laden with presents and decorations. Together, they turned the apartment into a child's paradise. Bright balloons, festive banners, and a table covered with treats. As guests, Lily's school friends, neighbors, a few recently reconnected relatives started to arrive. Sarah couldn't help but recall the stark contrast with the previous year. Where there had been loneliness and despair, now there was laughter, music, and the infectious energy of children playing. Watching the scene with a smile, Jack approached Sarah. "What are you thinking about?" Sarah wiped away a stray tear. "How everything has changed. A year ago, I didn't even know if I'd see Lily again. And now, and look at her. Lily stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by friends, her face glowing with happiness as she played an excited party game. Jack nodded, clearly moved as well. She brought light into our lives, didn't she? Into all our lives, Sarah agreed. When it was time to sing Happy Birthday, Lily stood before her cake, eyes shining in the candlelight. Sarah and Jack were by her side, forming a scene no one could have predicted a year ago. "Make a wish, sweetheart," Sarah encouraged. Lily closed her eyes for a moment, then blew out the candles with gusto. The room burst into applause and cheers. Later, as the party wound down and the final guests said their goodbyes, Jack asked for everyone's attention. "I have an announcement," he began, his voice calm but filled with emotion. "This past year has taught me so much about what family really means and the power of a second chance. That's why I'm proud to announce the creation of the Lily Foundation." A ripple of surprise swept through the room. Jack continued, "This foundation will help children and families experiencing homelessness, providing not just shelter and food, but also opportunities for education and work, because everyone deserves a chance to start over." Sarah looked at Jack, stunned. Lily, not fully grasping the significance, simply beamed with pride at having a foundation named after her. When the last guest departed, Sarah, Jack, and Lily collapsed onto the couch, exhausted but elated. "That was the best birthday ever," Lily exclaimed, hugging her giant new teddy bear, of course, a gift from Jack. Sarah smiled, pulling Lily close. "Yes, it was amazing. And do you know why? Because we were all together." Jack nodded thoughtfully. You know, a year ago I thought I had it all, money, business success, but something was missing. You two showed me what really matters in life." Sarah squeezed his hand. "And you gave us a second chance at life. I think we all gained something precious." Lily, sensing the emotion of the moment, hugged them both. "We're a family now, aren't we?" Jack and Sarah exchanged a meaningful look. "Yes, Lily," Jack answered softly. "We are a family." As night fell, the three of them remained together, discussing their plans for the future. Lily talked excitedly about the next school year. Sarah spoke of her hopes to finish her business management course and advance her career. Jack shared ideas for the Lily Foundation, envisioning how they could help other families get a second chance like they had. Watching Lily drift off to sleep on the sofa, exhausted but happy, Sarah felt a surge of gratitude so strong it nearly overwhelmed her. "Jack," she said quietly, "you changed our lives in a way I can never repay." Jack smiled, his eyes shining with emotion. "Sarah, you two saved my life as much as I saved yours. You gave me a purpose, a family. You can't put a price on that." While Jack gently carried Lily to her bed, Sarah stayed in the living room, looking at the photos from the past year spread across the table. Pictures of Lily on her first day of school, Sarah at her training course graduation, Jack teaching Lily how to ride a bike. Moments that once seemed impossible. When Jack returned, they sat together, enjoying the companionable silence that only true closeness can bring. "What does the future hold for us, do you think?" Sarah asked softly in the quiet of the evening. Jack took her hand, interlacing their fingers. "I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, we'll face it together, as a family." Sarah nodded, feeling a calm she hadn't experienced in years. The future, once so terrifying and uncertain, now shone with promise. As the city outside settled into sleep, in that small apartment, an unlikely family, united by chance, generosity, and love, dreamed of the days to come. Days filled with hope, challenges to be overcome together, and a love that would only grow deeper with time. And so, 1 year after a fateful meeting that changed their lives forever, Sarah, Lily, and Jack found themselves at the start of a new chapter, a chapter full of promise, second chances, and the true meaning of family. Because in the end, it's not blood that defines a family, but love, understanding, and the willingness to be there for one another, no matter what. And in that regard, they were the truest family anyone could hope for.